Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is a story time. So this is the story on how I didn't miss the red flags. How about we just call it that, okay? So just to give you a little bit of a backstory, my mom met this man, right? And she tells me about this man, but like she's just telling me because he's our neighbor, right? She's like, oh, she met this friendly guy or whatever. She met this friendly guy. He like stopped to talk to her or whatever, like, or sometimes like when my mom would go on a walk, she might see him or something. So she tells me about him. She tells me he's like in the military. She tells me that he is retired. They had like a very brief conversation, but the topic of children came up, and my mom had suggested to him like, well, you got to find a wife first. And so he pretty much says that he's on the search, right? So my mom tells me about this interaction with this person, and you know, I don't think nothing of it. She doesn't think anything of it. Why would she? You know, she's just telling me about the neighbor from up the road. Not even up the road. He lives like literally in our community. So one day, me and my mom are home, and I like to have multiples of things, and so I have a few drivers that I rotate through, and so but I needed another driver, right? Because I try to work with other people's schedules. You know, it's Jamaica, life is hard here for some people, so I try to, you know, spread my blessings out amongst different people, right? And obviously I like to ride with whoever my kids like the most, so that's pretty much what I was looking to do. I was trying to find, you know, somebody more convenient, or somebody that is just a driver versus some of the people that I have other jobs, right? And so it's harder for them to be my driver. One day, Salem and Belle are gone to school, but Nola's home, and Nola is begging. Okay, when I say begging, she's begging to go for a walk. And so me and my mom are like, okay, let's go for a walk. It's so manageable because it's just her. Let's go for this walk. It's not raining. It's a lovely day. Let's go. It's the middle of the afternoon, and we're like on this walk. I'll insert a picture of Nola from the day that we went on the walk. We're on the walk, and as we hit the corner to almost get back to our house, we end up seeing him come out of the house, right? And so he comes out of the house and he sees us, and he comes directly to us, and we start having small talk. This is my second interaction with him, because the first interaction was one day when he was driving by my house. He kind of stopped his car in front of my house and told me to hail up my mom for him, or he asked like if my mom was home or around. And I don't think she was that day, so I was like, no, she's not. And then he tells me his name and tells me to tell her hi or whatever, which was fine. He never even introduced himself to damn me, right? He was just saying hi to my mom. And so I was like, oh, my mom too damn friendly. She'd be making friends with every damn buddy, okay? So I tell her that, you know, the guy from up the road said hi today or whatever, and she's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, that was before this walk. So this is now my second interaction with him, up close and personal. This time we're eye to eye, right? So it's me, my mom, and Nola, and we are standing in the middle of the street, and we're talking to him. He starts telling us about his business, but from what I understood, he was in the military, right? So, or the army, whatever. I was actually stunned that he had like his own personal business, and so he was telling me what the business is and where it is or whatever, and to stop by one day and blah blah blah. And so me and my mom were like, okay, cool. And so he started telling us about Airbnb and said that he wants to put his house up on there for Airbnb, like to rent it out to renters, and he would put a car as well. And so I asked him, I said, oh, well, how much would you just rent the car out for? Because I was starting to think like, instead of getting a driver, baby, I just need to drive. I just need to, you know, embrace that the drivers are crazy out here, but I can be crazy too, and I just need to drive. So maybe he can rent his car to me, because that's the thing here, like people rent out their cars all the time. If they're like not using it on the weekend, they rent it out, okay? And it's like $50 a day. And he was like, oh, well, I wouldn't want to rent out the car just by itself. I would want to only do it with the Airbnb package. So he also had mentioned that he would have a driver pick them up from the airport in the vehicle, and then they would drop the driver off or whatever, or the driver would come back to them with the Airbnb and then go home in their own car. So when he said that, I was like, oh, you have driver? And he was like, oh yeah, I have lots of different drivers and blah blah blah. When me and my mom were both talking to him, what we understood was that he had a driving business. Like that was also one of his entrepreneurships. Like he had a business where he would send out drivers for him. That's how he put it, okay? So at that point we exchanged numbers, because I'm looking for a driver, because I need somebody that can help me bring my kids to school every morning and pick them up every afternoon. So that's pretty much why I needed this extra driver. So we exchanged numbers. I text him and I say, hey, it's me, you know, from up the street, and you know, I'm waiting for him to get back to me with the driver situation. So I text him and I tell him what I would need the driver for, right? And then he finally gets back to me. So I had texted him on Saturday, and oh my Jesus! Oh my God! Oh my God! I cannot with this. I cannot with this. I cannot. The first day that I text was on a Wednesday, September 13th. Then I texted him on the Saturday because we hadn't really reconvened, right? I text him on the Saturday. He gets back to me on the Sunday. But the fact that this started off on a Wednesday is Jesus Christ. It's telling in itself that this was going to go so left. It doesn't even make any sense. So he texts me back on the Sunday. Everything is normal. He's actually not normal because I text him at like 7:58 p.m. You know, not too late, okay? Because I don't want to be sending the wrong ideas or nothing. Especially because my mom say he looking for a wife, honey. I said I don't want to be sending the wrong ideas, okay? So I text him at a proper time. This man texts me back at 12:27 a.m. Sir, you could have waited till the next day. But I was awake, so I texted him back anyway. And I was like, okay, cool, no worries, thanks a bunch. So he texts me back and he's like, okay, LOL, you get some rest now. And from then, I was like, oh no, he's not one of these people, is he? Oh God. He texted me that at 12:33. And I just put a reaction to it because I didn't want to text back and then him thinking it's okay to still text me this late. So I just put a reaction on it. And then he was like, say hi to mommy for me 3 minutes later. Like 3 minutes later. First of all, he said he was on his way home when he texted me, right? So it's 3 minutes later. You're driving, sir. Why are you texting me 3 minutes later? What? You already told me to get some rest. Why are you texting me again? But that's neither here nor there. I just like let that roll off my back or whatever. Sunday, same day, you know, I text him again and I was like, hey, don't forget about me today, please, because I really needed a driver, like really, really bad. And so he texts me back later in that day and tells me that he called the driver, but the driver is telling him that he's booked out, like he can't help me, right? He said he's gonna check someone else. And then I was like, oh, no worries, it's Sunday, because he had told me like, oh, sorry, I'm just getting up. And it was like after 1 o'clock, right? And I was like, it's Sunday, no worries, and all right, thank you. So then he texted me back later that evening. And he's like, hey, can't seem to get anyone at this time that I can trust to do the work. Sorry. I said, okay, no worries, thanks for trying. I'm thinking it's going to end there, child, because like, yes, I need a driver, but it's really not that deep. Like, I'm not sending this man on a wild goose chase. I appreciate the efforts, but like, he doesn't have to go above and beyond and whatever. And so at that point, I'm already a little confused because in the middle of the road, me and my mom both left with the same understanding that this person had a business where he had drivers, not that he was going to be trying to find a driver. Do you know what I mean? So already I'm a little confused, but I'm not gonna call him out for it. Like, it's not necessary because he said he has no luck. So I'm just gonna take it on the chin and be like, okay, like, you know, I'll figure it out, which obviously I did. So that was Sunday, but we never spoke again, right? So Sunday at 7:32 p.m. was the last message I ever sent to him, and I thought it was done because he said he couldn't find anybody. So like, I'm not expecting him to message me again. Well, this nigga popped back up on the Wednesday. Okay, so now it's the 20th, September 20th, and he pops back up, and it's 2:13 p.m. and he was like, hey, and he says my name. Hey, Bo, I'm still here checking. Not that I can't get a regular driver, but in these times you have to be careful. You can't let any and everyone around in your personal space, so that is why I don't give you someone already. Trust and responsible. So I put a reaction on it, and I also said, hey, let's call him John. Oh, I don't want to call him John, but we're gonna call him John. Hey, John. Thank you, I appreciate it. And yes, I know people are crazy, LOL. We've already had some interesting experiences here, so the safer the better. He's like, yeah, man, don't have to tell me. Some people crazy out there and robbers. And my little babies, and to be safe. And when he said that, I said, what little babies is he talking about? Because I know my mama said this man ain't got no children. I know he not talking about my children. I don't know you, sir. Like, gagged me, right? But I didn't say anything about it. I just act like I didn't see it, because I'm not gonna be like, are you referring to my kids as your little babies? Because what are you talking about? Didn't acknowledge that line at all. And I told him like who I typically have been using and why it's not working out or whatever. And then he tells me he heard about like some driver, but he didn't get to vet him himself, so he's waiting to get off work so he can go and see him. We're having like casual convo about his work or whatever. Then I was like, I probably need to just accept the crazy drivers on the road and buy a car. LOL, I'm scared to drive here. Because honestly, you guys, I actually really miss my Durango. I miss, and it's not that I miss a Durango, I miss like jumping in my car and going for a cruise. You know what I mean? Like I love driving, so I miss that. I miss like getting in my car and going for a drive, but I also love being chauffeured everywhere. So like is it a catch-22? Kind of, but not really. Like I don't need a car, but like it would be convenient to have one just for the odd times. But like so far I have a few drivers and it always works out really great. So when he tells me about his work, he was like, I thought your mom told you that I'm a soldier, that's my full-time job. And I was like, oh well, she did, but I could have sworn she said you were retired. So now we have two lies. Okay, we have the lie where he said that he's retired unless my mama misheard him, and then we have the one where he told us that he got a driver's right, but he didn't really. So now we're looking at him like, what is going on here? So he asked me why I don't buy a car or whatever, and then I explained like we drive on the opposite side of the road, right? Like we drive on the opposite side of the road, our steering wheel's on the opposite side, like everything's opposite. So like my brain is having a hard time computing to do everything on the opposite side. It should really be the same, just, you know, switch the sides, but it doesn't feel that way because the left turn would be a right turn and the right turn would be a left turn in a sense. So it's a little confusing, and like that's actually why a lot of accidents happen, because people are not used to the switch over, right? Had Canada stayed under the British ruling, we would have probably had cars on that side as well, and then it wouldn't be no thing. And so he was like telling me he thinks I should buy a car, and he said he would definitely take the time out to teach me how to rock these roads. And so I was like, oh cool, I would love that, right? So then he says that he's definitely not retired and maybe my mom misheard him. But after everything that happened, I don't think that she misheard him. So then I was like, he's like, definitely not me. I work so hard and long hours. And I said to him, I was like to my mom, he looks a little young to be retired. Like, you look young. He was like, yes, at least try. And then he asked me if I could drive manual. So at this point, I asked him how old he is, because my mama said he retired and now he's telling me he's not retired. So I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm too young to retire. And he just turned 30, like literally the week before. Anyway, he ends up having my sister's birthday, and I'm like, oh my god, that's my sister's birthday. He's like, oh, now you can tell her she has a twin in the family. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, what is happening here? So we're having casual convo at this point, you know. No, you have your shoes on. Take off your shoes. So fast forward, he's like to me, he's coming back home tomorrow from work so we could check out the driver together, and he can show me a few tricks in referencing teaching me how to drive, of course. I hope, child, I hope that's all he was talking about. Child, I can't. So I quickly say evenings don't typically work for me, but weekends are good, and days between like 9 and 2, because I need to work around my kid's schedule. I cannot work around my own. Okay. Also, like, if somebody's gonna teach you how to drive, like, why would you go at nighttime? Even though you need to learn to drive at night as well, but like, I'm not going with no strange man at nighttime to learn how to drive, sir. I watch crime shows. Okay, I know how this is gonna go.
Mommy, you tie your friend. If you want to tie your friend, then put it down.
What friend?
No, just put on your fan.
Oh, my fan? What about my fan?
Put it up. Oh, I like that blue hair.
You like that blue hair now? Okay, hush, baby. Okay, take it and go. I put it on you, and then you go, okay? Okay, don't put it on you then. I'm gonna put it on you, and then you're going to go. Don't growl.
I don't want to.
Don't.
Just don't
Why?
want it.
Why? Here, come.
So you want it. do.
What?
It's on my hair. Like this one. I look this like Ariel.
Ariel? Ariel's hair is definitely red. Okay. Okay, if you go, Mommy will let you and your sisters all borrow some wigs to go play. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, tell your sisters to come. Girl, anything, gotta bribe them, baby. So I wanted to cut the conversation short because already for me it was going on a little too long, and he already kind of made me uncomfortable. But like, I like to tread lightly with people. Okay, after everything I've been through, I tread light. Okay. I don't like to be pissing people off. Okay. So like I was saying, I really wanted to cut the conversation short because it already had gone on a little bit too long, and I had things to do. Like, it was, what time was it? It was 2:44 p.m. My house was hectic. So I was like, also BRB, my house is hectic at the moment, and my mom has retreated to her quarters. So I stopped responding to him, and he sends me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 texts. Okay, most of them were responding to things I had said before, so that's fine, right? But after I didn't respond at 2:50, he texts me again. He's like, seems like you are busy now, so later we catch up, and sends me a winky face. So I didn't text him back because he was being a little too intense for me, and you know, I didn't have to text him back. There was nothing to text him back about. That Wednesday that he texted me was actually the same Wednesday my daughter had come home sick from school, which meant that the next day, Thursday, she was gonna miss school, right? Salem went and Belle didn't. So Salem goes on the Thursday, but by Friday they were both staying home. So on Friday, he texts me again. This is where things kind of were like, okay,
It's getting weird.
I'm getting scared now. So I'm gonna tell you guys about Friday. So it's 7:26 a.m. and he texts me. I was slept in, so I didn't see the text until after, right? So he texts me, GM, good morning. Want any help with the kids this morning? And said, coming shortly to see you. It was 7:26 a.m. I did not respond because I was asleep. And so maybe I want to say 2 hours later, me and actually the girls were all sleeping in my bed because Salem and Belle came into my room in the middle of the night or whatever. And so we're all asleep in my bed, and my phone rings. And I wake up and I put my phone to my ear because I see that it's him calling, right? So I answer the phone. And as I'm on the phone, like waking up out of bed, like literally like lost and confused. You know when you first wake up and you're kind of confused? And at the same time that my phone rang, my mom noticed that there was a car outside of the house. It's like after 9 now, I think, or like 8, maybe, I don't know what time it was, but I was out, okay? So I answered the phone. He starts, you know, saying to me like he was wondering like if I needed to go anywhere, if I wanted to get out, you know, blah, blah, blah. My mom notices there's a car outside the house, and so she, oh my god, I almost sent him a voice note. Oh my god. Hold on, girl, I need to hurry up and get out of this story before I need to hurry up and tell this story, so ooh, glory to God, I need to hurry up and finish telling this story so I can move on. Mom notices there's a car outside of the house, right? Let me put the damn phone down till I'm done telling this part of the story. I'll pick it back up when I'm reading the text, girl. Ooh-wee, that would have been some craziness. So the devil is a liar. Oh my God. So I am like I said, half asleep, and my mom comes into my room and she starts telling me there's a car outside the house and it's just sitting there. But then she also realized I was on the phone, so she figured whoever is outside the house is who's on the phone. But this is crazy behavior. You don't do that. Like I just met you, number one. Number two, I never asked you to be my driver. I asked you to find me a driver. And so the fact that he was calling me at 9 o'clock in the morning, and like he clearly could hear that I had just woken up because he said something about it, right? And so I was like, oh no, my kids are sick today, like I didn't bother sending them to school, but thanks. And so he was like, oh, like he thought like maybe we'd want to go for a drive or something, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, we're okay, thank you. And you know, I got off the phone. But as soon as I got off the phone, baby, I done perked up. I got out of the bed because I had to go talk to my mama. I was like, Mom, this is unacceptable for him to be driving by the house and calling me when he already texted me that morning and I hadn't responded yet. So why would you be stopped outside my house? Now here's the problem. He is my neighbor. So like he lives where I live. Like it's not like I live in like I live at like a random house and like there's no security or anything like that. Like I live in a secure place. So but he also lives in that secure place. He knows where my house is or whatever, and like, you know, so I'm like I'm uncomfortable at that point because I'm just like, what did I get myself into? I was just looking for a damn driver. I was just looking for my damn driver. Not Fenty is emailing me. I'm like annoyed with this whole situation at that point because I'm just like, is this man for real? Like, you text me, I didn't respond. Your next move is not to call me and also park outside my house. Like, that is not your next move, okay? I don't care what language we speak. I don't care what country we're in. That's just not the move. So at 11:22 a.m. I wake up. Or not I wake up, but like I'm, you know, going through my day and I decide I'm going to, you know, message him and I'm like, hey, John, I'm just getting some work done now. We'll probably go for a walk later this afternoon. So if you're home, we'll stop by. Because I didn't want him to think that he could just be popping up in my house, right? So the reason that I was going over to him is because he was acting like he desperately needed to contact me, right? So because we knew we were going to go on a walk with the girls, we were like, okay, like when we go on the walk, we'll just get the driver's number from him, because when he called me that morning, he had mentioned something about the driver, right? So at that point I was like, okay, well, whatever he, you know, wanted to discuss with me about this driver, we'll just go stop at his house or whatever. But of course he acts like he's not going to be home when we are ready to go for the walk. So he's like, oh, then I'm leaving my home at 4 p.m. And then he said, but okay, get that evening walk in. So then 11:25 a.m. was his last text to me. But then he texted me again and he's like, you need anything on road, which was again strange because I understand your friendly neighbor, like, you know, giving you a cup of sugar if you go knock on their door and ask for it. But like, I've never asked this person for anything. I never even alluded to sending them to the grocery store for me or anything of that nature. So like, I was a little taken aback, like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, why is he offering to pick me up something on the road? But it was so dumb because it was almost like he was already home, because that was at 11:58. And then at 12:02 I saw the message and I was like, no, it's okay, we're good, thank you. And he messages me right back and he's like, okay, then just reaching home. So between 11:58 and 12:02 you were already home. So why did you ask me if I needed anything? You were clearly already too close to home from the store. Like, based on where we live, like, he was already too close to home to even pick me up anything. So it was like, what the hell was that for, you know? And so again, I'm just like, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Okay, I'm like, this is crazy. When I see that he said like he's leaving home at 4, I was like, damn it, John, are you gonna be home tomorrow? I'll be gone in the morning with my uncle, but after I finish, if you're home, like, I'll stop by. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can cancel my shift tomorrow then. And then he's like, what did you want to do? And then he's like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, OMG, no, LOL. Don't cancel your shift. It's not that deep. We'll just catch up on Sunday or Monday because, you know, my kid should be back in school by then. And he's like, are you sure? Like, are you sure it's not that deep? And then he's like, all right, good. And then he asked me if my mom is home. But he's not saying, is your mom home? He's saying, is mom home? Like, he's referring to my mom as mom, which is insane because she don't know him and I don't know him. Like, insanity. So then I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then I said, I thought you were actually just giving me the number for the driver in case I needed the driver's number. I actually thought that's why you stopped by this morning, to have a quick chat. Like, I didn't think that he was stopping by for anything other. I didn't give a damn why he stopped by, but I was like, whatever's going on in this man's head, I need to put a stop to it immediately. So let me just tell him, just give me the number, because we don't really need to meet up. Like, just give me the number. I can vet the man myself. If I'm comfortable, if I'm comfortable. If I'm not, I'm not. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm probably not even going to use him. So then he's like, yeah, that's it. But on the next end, I thought you and the kids wanted to come out of the house. Who told you that? Like, who told you that? I didn't tell this man anything about that. So then he was like, I don't know the driver deep like that. So I wanted us both to speak with the driver, especially the driver that's going to carry the kids to school. And then he reiterates, he's like, just to make clear, when a male is present, less hard will be there, which I already know because typically I don't go anywhere without a male, and every other male that I've spoken to here has reiterated that, and it's true, right? Especially because I'm not having an accent. Okay, I am from foreign and I am struggling to put on my patois, but give me 3 years, baby. Give me 3 years. Me, I'm gonna get it, okay? I'm going to get it within the 3 years. Oh, you know what? I need to go pick up my packages. So then he sends me the number for the taxi, and then he's like, here you go. And so I respond to his message about like getting the kids out of the house, and I'm like, well, they're sick, so the only thing we really be going outside for is like fresh air on our walk at 4. Okay, so I was like, but for the driver, I don't really want someone that you don't know personally or who you can trust, because remember, I went into this thinking this person had drivers, right? And then so I said, since the 2 drivers you checked before can't do it, I'll just stick with my current situation, but we really appreciate it regardless. And then I said, I'll probably use the driver's number that you just gave me for my own personal use, but not like to bring my kids to school. So boom, the driving conversation pretty much ends. And because I'm a little on edge about him, I don't want him to be like, what's the word? Angry? No, not angry. I don't want him to be like bitter, because I don't know him, right? I don't know his personality or anything like that. I'm just going based off of what I see, and I see a few red flags. So like, I'm trying to just smooth the situation over as much as possible and let him know like, we really appreciate it, but like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. You did great, you know.
Thank you for your services.
You know, now we're having casual conversation. This is where the next red flag ends up popping up. He had told me before that he has doctors and stuff in his family, and then he told me that he got the number of the driver from somebody else in his family that works in the education industry, right? And so I was like, oh wow, a doctor and an educator in your family, y'all got all kinds of folk over there, right? And he's like, he said shake my head yes, which I thought was interesting, but I find that a lot of people here use SMH even when they don't mean it in a negative way. So he's like, shake my head yes, I have a few doctors and nurses, teachers, and my fiance banker. So at this point, I'm behooved, okay? Because I'm like, fiance? I'm like, I'm confused. My mom said he was looking for a woman, and she also told me he was retired. Now he's telling me he ain't retired and he has a fiance. I was like, what is going on? Is this an alternate universe? What is happening? And so when he says he has a fiance banker, I automatically was like, he is feeling rejected by me, and so now he's trying to tell me he has a significant other, right? Or trying to like make me feel like he wasn't coming on to me when he was. And so at this point, I'm like, the red flags have turned into sirens. They are blaring, and I'm like, this is not real, okay? Jamaica's not a real place. This is not happening. So he's like, my family is just industrious. Once you prove that you are a good person, you can definitely be a beneficiary of us. And again, what does that mean? I am baffled. I'm like, a beneficiary of us? That is weird language, like really weird. I was like, oh wow, my family has no doctors. We're nurses. My bestie's a nurse, shout out to her, okay? I was like, we're all mostly entrepreneurs. Like my family from the beginning of time has been on the entrepreneur thing, okay? That is what my family. He's like, oh yeah, that's wonderful. Handing out the checks, huh? That's next level-ish, man. He's like, good night to you and the family, sleep tight. He texted me at 7:51, I never responded, and then he texted me again at 8:34 and told me good night. When I saw it, I was like, you as well, take care, right? That was Friday, so I don't talk to him pretty much for almost a week. And he messages me on Thursday the 28th, and he's like, hey, what's going on? So from the time he tells me he has this mystery fiance that came out of work, because I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, you have a fiance and she would be okay with you taking out some girl and teaching her how to drive and stuff, like, really? I thought that was like a single man activity, like, you know. And you know what, sometimes people are just friendly and being nice, but I didn't get that vibe. Okay, I didn't get I have a fiance vibe, especially because my mom told me that this man was looking for a wife so that he could settle down and retire. Like, what is happening? So then I respond and I was like, hey John, sorry, just getting to you now, long day full of work and mothering and more work and more mothering, lol, how about you? This man texts me back. I texted him pretty late, it was 10:32, but I thought 10:32 is not that bad, okay? This man texted me back at 1:44 a.m. and said, shake my head. Wish I could have some of that mothering love or someone to mother my child. And then he also said, but I'm good, just came in at 1:44 a.m. When he said he wishes he could have some of that mothering love or someone to mother his child, again, I'm like, this man told me he got a fiance, a banker fiance. Why she ain't, what, where's she at to mother the children? Where's she at to mother the children? And where is she at to give you the mothering love? Where's your mama? What is happening? Why are you saying this to me? At this point, I am like running to my mama's room to tell her what he said. I don't think I was awake for that. I think I saw it when I woke up in the morning. Okay. But it gets worse. So after he said that to me, I'm processing things. I've said, yeah, no, this man is crazy. I don't understand what's going on. And I don't like it. I'm like, I'm just not going to respond because why are you texting me that at 1:44 a.m.? And if you need somebody to mother your child, then you need to get on Tinder or somewhere. You need to get on Bumble, baby. You need to go on somewhere and find you somebody to mother your child. But you told me you have a fiance, so I'm confused. And so when I woke up in the day, I was gonna say, but didn't you say you have a fiance that's a banker? But then someone was like, don't even engage, baby, don't even bother. And so I was obedient and I was like, I'm not gonna engage. Okay, so who told me to not engage? Who told me to not engage? Baby, when he realized I didn't like what he said, clearly because I didn't respond, and now it's the middle of the damn afternoon, it's 3:16 p.m. He texts me again, same day, because remember that was 1:44 a.m. He texts me again, he's like, hey, baby, I didn't respond. Now, that day, I was actually going out with my friends, and so I'm on the veranda with my kids. I'm on the veranda with my kids, and I don't remember what they were doing out there, but I was like telling them to come inside because I think they had toys on the veranda, and I was telling them to clean up their toys and bring them inside because I was getting ready to go out soon. And so it's getting to the evening time. This is like maybe around 5:30, almost 6 o'clock, right? I'm going out to dinner, but I didn't close my front door. I just locked my grill. Shout out to having a grill. Okay, that is what I'm like, oh my god, we should have had these in Canada. They are so convenient for when you want to take a nap. Oh my gosh, they are so convenient. Anyway, so I locked the grill, but I don't close my front door. And I'm standing at the ironing board because I'm waiting for my friend to come and pick me up. And so as I'm standing at the ironing board, I sent a text message, then I walked away and I went into my bedroom, and I think my mom had gone to the front door for something, and she's like, Bouge, he's on the lawn. I said, who's on the lawn? She said, he's on the lawn. And I was like, who, Mom? Like, I'm confused, okay? I'm like, the grass cutter's here, like, what's happening? She's like, he's coming to the front door. And I'm like gagged, don't know what to say. So I go to the front door. I see that John is standing on my veranda. He's never been on my veranda before. Okay, he's never been to my house. He's only ever driven past and like maybe honked or like stopped the car and like said hi. He was leaving the neighborhood, right? So he's driving his car out of the neighborhood. There are two other cars behind him. He stopped his car in the middle of the freaking in front of my house, right? But he stopped his car in front of my house, got out of the vehicle, left it running, came up my veranda, and his talk is like, hey, almost like, hey, why didn't you respond to my text? And I'm just like, he didn't say this to me, but I was trying to look into his eyes to like, is this man crazy or not? But like, I never responded to his text. First of all, I never responded to 3 text messages. And now you're standing on my veranda. You don't see anything wrong with that? So he's standing on my veranda and he's like, hey. And I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, I'm just trying to play it cool because I obviously, like I said, I tread light, okay? So I'm like, hey. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to go grab a bite to eat or whatever, and telling me he's going to the seafood spot. And I'm like, oh, where is it or whatever? And so he tells me where it is, and I tell him to try this place or whatever. And pretty much he's standing on my veranda, but the grill is locked. And so I'm talking to him through the grill because I'm not about to open my front door for you or my grill for you. Like, I didn't invite you onto my veranda. Why are you here? And so the cars are behind him pissed because he's parked in the middle of the damn road. They pretty much end up having to wait for him to get back in his car to leave. But I was like, baby, this is too many damn red flags. So because I didn't text him back, he ends up on my veranda and is looking at me like how come you didn't text me back? You know, and I'm looking at him like, nigga, I'm never gonna text you back. I am never gonna text you back. You are scaring me. And so when I go out with my friend now, I tell her, and she's like, have you ever seen him in his uniform? And I was like, no, because I've never really seen him outside. Like, I never seen him outside of his car. Anytime I see him, he's in a white shirt. Like, she's like, because he's probably not even really in the damn military. And I'm like, or the army, whatever. She's like, because you would have seen him at least once in his attire. And I was like, are you sure? Like, I don't know, because I don't be checking for nobody, okay? So I don't know if I should or would or could, but baby, he gave me the heebie damn jeebies. And ever since the day that he came on my veranda, I have not had any text exchanges with him since. And I'm like sat there wondering, like, does he realize how intense he is? Like, does he realize how inappropriate he is? Baby, and I'm not about to tell him either, okay? I'm not about to let him know either, but yeah, that is the story about the red flags I did not miss. And it's so funny because when I finally saw him up close and personal, I was like, oh my god, he's kind of cute, you know? But like, you know that shirt that says cute but psycho? him in a handbasket pretty much. But like, yeah, very interesting situation. And yeah, I wasn't here for it at all. But like, the moral of the story here is do not ignore the red flags, because one minute he got drivers, next minute he got a fiance, next minute he's looking for somebody to mother the children. Baby, what, he retired, he not retired? Baby, nothing. There was no straight answer with this man, and I was left there confused. So we had to nip that one in the bud. But yeah, he hasn't texted me since that day, and I haven't texted him. And you know, I think every once in a while if he's driving by, he will honk or whatever, so it's no bad blood. But like, I just had to make you know that I am not interested, sir, and that is going to be by ignoring your text message, okay? Anyway, you guys, tell me a time where you didn't miss the red flags. I love you all so much, and I will definitely see you in the next one.